Once the definition of global beauty, they are now unrecognizable even to their fans. What happens when the fear of aging overcomes reason? From dazzling magazine covers to horrific post-operative complications, this is the dark side of the beauty industry that no one wants to talk about. We're not just talking about plastic surgery, we're talking about the trade-off. What is the real price of eternal youth? What you're about to see is truly unbelievable. Julia Tarasevich was once considered the embodiment of classic Russian beauty, elegant, charming, and almost ageless. From beauty pageants to the media spotlight, she always appeared as a perfect woman admired by thousands. But behind that sophisticated smile lay a decision that changed her life forever. At 38, Julia wasn't seeking an extreme transformation. She simply wanted to preserve the youthful features that time was slowly taking away: a little facelift, eyelid surgery, and mild liposuction. These procedures, advertised as simple and safe, quickly turned into an unimaginable nightmare. When she woke up after the surgery, Julia barely recognized herself. Her face was swollen, disfigured, severely asymmetrical, and so painful that she couldn't close her eyes completely, even while sleeping. What was once promised as a gentle enhancement became a beauty tragedy that shocked Russian social media and the press. While doctors denied responsibility and attributed the cause to a rare autoimmune disease, Julia adamantly rejected this and decided to take the matter to court. Despite numerous painful reconstructive surgeries, she has yet to regain her former appearance. But instead of avoiding public scrutiny, Julia Tarasevich chose to speak out. Her story has become a haunting warning about the dark side of the beauty industry, where a single small decision can destroy a person's face, career, and self-confidence forever. This is not just a story of failed cosmetic surgery, but also the tragedy of a woman who once possessed everything, yet lost the simplest thing: the ability to sleep peacefully without pain. In the 1970s, Lin May was one of Mexico's most famous sex symbols, possessing captivating natural beauty and stage presence that mesmerized audiences. But behind that glamour lay the fear of aging in an industry obsessed with youth. It all began with a small facial flaw that almost no one noticed except herself. Trusting the wrong person, Lin May had baby oil injected into her face instead of medical fillers by an unlicensed practitioner. The consequences quickly became disastrous. Her face swelled, the tissues hardened, and the once admired features gradually became distorted over time. Despite numerous corrective surgeries, she could never fully regain her former appearance. The media at the time relentlessly mocked her appearance with cruel photos and headlines. But instead of disappearing, Lin May continued to appear in public and candidly recounted her story as a warning about the dark side of illegal cosmetic surgery and the obsession with eternal youth. Carol Bryan had never been obsessed with clinging to youth or pursuing perfect beauty. At 47, she simply wanted to regain some confidence by smoothing out a few wrinkles on her face. But what began as a minor cosmetic procedure in 2009 quickly turned into a terrifying nightmare. Carol had no idea the substance injected into her face contained liquid silicone, a substance banned for facial use due to its extremely high level of danger. Initially, everything seemed normal, but after only a few weeks, her face began to swell, harden, and become so severely disfigured that it was unrecognizable. The stares of strangers, the silence of friends, and the emotional shock caused Carol to gradually isolate herself, spending months afraid to leave her house. Doctors tried to repair the damage with several painful surgeries, But things only got worse until a major craniofacial surgery at UCLA in 2013 offered a last glimmer of hope. Although the surgery saved her life, it left Carol permanently blind in one eye. Today, instead of hiding her past, Carol Bryan chooses to speak out. Through her speeches, documentaries, and charitable foundation, she warns people about the deadly dangers of unregulated cosmetic procedures. Carol's story is a heartbreaking reminder that a single injection can change a person's entire life forever. Dennis Avner was once an ordinary U.S. Navy veteran until he shocked the world with his decision to transform himself into a real-life Tiger Man. Believing his soul was connected to big cats, Dennis underwent dozens of painful surgeries, from lip reshaping and ear reconstruction to facial transplants, full-body tiger-striped tattoos, and terrifying prosthetic fangs. To many, he was a bizarre and haunting phenomenon. But for Dennis, it was the only way to become his true self. After his mysterious death in 2012, stalking cat remains one of the most shocking and unforgettable cases of body modification in world history. Jocelyn Wildenstein was once an icon of wealth, beauty, and power in New York's elite. Married to art billionaire Alec Wildenstein, she lived amidst opulent mansions, diamonds, and extravagant parties that many could only dream of. But behind that seemingly perfect life lay a growing obsession with youth and beauty. Initial minor surgeries quickly transformed into one of Hollywood's most shocking facial transformations, earning her the infamous nickname Catwoman. As her face became increasingly altered, her marriage collapsed in a high-profile divorce, followed by a series of financial difficulties. From a woman who once spent millions of dollars annually on a lavish lifestyle, Jocelyn eventually filed for bankruptcy. Yet she never completely disappeared from the public spotlight. Now in her 80s, Jocelyn Wildenstein remains one of the world's most controversial and haunting icons. A reminder that when the pursuit of beauty goes beyond acceptable limits, it can change not just a face, but a person's entire life. Kenny Rogers was once an icon of American country music. His warm, husky voice, rugged good looks, and genuine personality endearing him to millions. His face, marked by the passage of time, was seen as a symbol of experience and maturity. But in 2006, Kenny made a decision he later admitted to deeply regretting, undergoing cosmetic surgery on his eyes to look younger. The surgery drastically altered his familiar face, stripping his eyes of their natural, gentle expression that fans had cherished for decades. Kenny Rogers later frankly admitted that he wished he had never done it, viewing it as a painful lesson about the pressures of aging and the superficiality of the entertainment industry. However, instead of letting that mistake define his life, he continued to dedicate himself to music, family, and philanthropy until his death in 2020 at the age of 81. And ultimately, what the world remembers about Kenny Rogers is not his changed face, but his voice, his soul, and the immortal musical legacy he left behind. Daryl Hannah was once the perfect embodiment of 1980s Hollywood beauty. Her mesmerizing blue eyes, golden blonde hair, and natural charm captivated the world after her role as the mermaid in Splash. She was beloved for her genuine and unforced beauty, a rarity in the glitzy world of Hollywood. But over time, the pressure to maintain her youthful appearance seemed to subtly alter things. Rumors of Botox and fillers began to surface as Daryl's face became increasingly stiff, her lips fuller, and her natural expressions gradually faded. Although the actress always denied having plastic surgery, many fans still regret the feeling that the natural beauty that once made her special had gradually diminished with age. Today, Daryl Hannah chooses to step away from the Hollywood spotlight to live peacefully with her husband, music legend Neil Young, focusing on environmental activism. But for many, her story remains a haunting reminder that sometimes trying to cling to youth can inadvertently strip away the very natural beauty that once captivated the world. Pete Burns was a rebellious pop star of the 1980s, famous for his iconic song You Spin Me Round, Like a Record, with the band Dead or Alive. With his bold androgynous style, sharp features, and irreplaceable personality, Pete quickly became one of the most distinctive icons of his time. But behind that glamour lay a decades-long obsession with transforming himself into a living work of art. It all started with a simple nose job, but quickly escalated into hundreds of painful surgeries, filler injections, and facial reconstructions. Pete wasn't trying to stay young forever. He was pursuing the perfect version of himself in his mind, regardless of the cost. Botched surgeries, persistent infections, and never-ending pain. Despite the controversy surrounding him throughout his life, Pete Burns never apologized for the person he chose to be. When he passed away in 2016 at the age of 57, he left behind not only immortal music, but also a question that continues to be debated worldwide. Where does the line lie between self-expression and true obsession? Thank you for watching today's video. The stories behind the glamour of Hollywood are sometimes even more shocking than the movies themselves, reminding us that beauty, fame, and youth always come with a price. If you found the video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next mysterious, tragic, and shocking stories of world-famous stars. See you in the next video.